lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaoh? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots that conquered Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the...
Okay, I have Melik pulled up on here too. Guys, tell me about Melik, because I know you guys do Melik and Rebecca's in there too, but like, when has the idea for Melik been around for a long time? Maybe it took a while to do stuff, or was it something that came about in the last 5, 6, 7 years? Or tell me about Melik and the history of Melik, because you guys did Nordic Fest last year on the live stream, which was an amazing experience. Really, I mean, we were all in the living room just headbanging. It was great.
Cool, nice to hear that.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Melik, I think Carl and we started discussing Melik like in, I don't know, Carl, was it like in 2015 or something?
Yeah, the thing that it started with Mästarens väg, the path of the master.
Yeah, because I wrote that song to Pantocrator as from the beginning.
To incarnate.
Yeah, to incarnate album. And then the other guys turned it down, basically, because I think we wanted to release it like an Easter song. Yeah. Like an Easter single.
And it started, I think, with us recording some vocals for Pantocrator here in this very room here, and it was very fun. We were doing that when we met here in this half of
as we do.
Yes, we do sometimes, and then we wanted to have something for. I think it was from because that didn't come on Easter. That came on Pantocrator Day.
It did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and we recorded it because it was a Pantocrator song from the beginning, and we told the band, we're gonna release this. Do you want it under the band name or under something else? And
yeah, because the other guys hadn't, they don't play on that version.
No, so we asked, do you want it to be a Pantocrator song, even though you're not, playing the instruments, or should we just do it some other way? Because we're gonna release it. And they were like, no, I feel like on a Pantocrator song, everyone should be involved. So then we released it, and then Melik was born. And before we asked them, we were like, because it was a Swedish song, like, if this goes solo, Melik gonna work in Swedish.
Always.
Yeah, so it's kind of set the bar for, or it kind of tied in the concept of Melik.
Yeah.
So we have done English stuff, but on the albums it's Swedish.
Yeah. And Melik likes to work fast. We don't want to wait and stuff.
Here I have the physical copy of Melik right here. And it's really an amazing album. You guys should pick it up. It's really, really good. And I think when I first heard about Melik, because like, Carl, when did me and you first meet? It was like end of 2018, maybe, which is coming up on like 2 or 3 years ago. But you guys released that in 2017. And I think I remember seeing something about Melik, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and I kept seeing it, and then I realized, and I listened to it, and I didn't realize it till a little bit later on. I was like, oh, that's the guys from Pantocrator. Okay, that's cool, awesome. But then I ended up, getting to know you guys better within the next year or so. So I've still kind of discovered Melik before I knew you guys, and which is always cool, because then, I can listen to you guys' music, not because I know you, like, oh, I only listen to it because it's my buddy. I really did like it. Like, I really liked it before I even knew you guys. And so it's always still that really cool feeling of like, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it other than like it stands above all of us. The music does, and it's just really cool, you know.
I think me and Rickard, we have a stronger drive for just releasing stuff than the
think
rest
so.
of the bunch, and we just had to have this.
And I
vent.
was like in a, I did wrote more music than what we needed for Pantocrator, actually. So we had to make use of it, or else it would just be lying there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be a sin to humanity, I think.
If you say so.
Yeah, it would.
So yeah, it really works like a creative outlet, instead, of waiting to, there's a nice feeling to being a band and create stuff together, and when magic happens together in the rehearsal, it's nothing that beats that feeling. But the world just looks different now, and we live very much apart from each other, and I am a very creative soul, so I write a lot of music. And when the idea of Melik was born, we could experiment with more
Whatever.
industrial influences and keyboards and a lot of clean vocals, and there are really no limits to what Melik can do. So watch the glass here, boy.
That's a good thing. I was going to ask you, what is you guys is over there with Melik and with Pantocrator? What does you guys is like rehearsal schedule, recording schedule? How often are you guys able to get together? Because I know like over here, like in our situation, we are all at least an hour and a half to almost 3 hours apart from each other. So when we get together for a rehearsal, it's an all day, it's an event for everybody. It's the equivalent of going to a show, because everybody has to bring all their gear. Everybody has to plan around it, and you have to have everything ready to go. So when you show up, it's not practice. You're supposed to practice on your own. It's rehearsal. You put everything together and work out any kinks. So what does it look like for you guys over there? How
it's
often?
the same. It's the same over here, man. It's I'll have like 2.5 hours drive to Carl, and
that's because
Jonathan is like almost 3.5 hours. So when we actually get together, we don't want to, spend half a day on just remembering songs and riffs. So it's up to everybody to rehearse at home.
Responsibility is individual, but the shame is collective.
Yeah, that's true.
So everyone has to rehearse on their own, but if we can't do what we're supposed to on stage, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, because we all gonna, get the tar and feathers for that.
Yeah. That's how it works, and it's the same with Crimson Moonlight. Very much far apart from each other as well. So we have to rehearse on our own, and then when we get together, we can, actually rehearse the songs.
Yeah. I think our rate of rehearsal is usually about, on average, over the last 2 years, about once every 2 to 3 months, and that's on a good average. Like it does take quite a while, and then a lot of it depends on if we're going to have any shows, or if we're wanting to do anything like that, or get together for pictures, or shoot a music video, or things like that, where obviously during 2020 we didn't get together very much because we had no reason to. All the shows got canceled. There was really no reason to make everybody drive 2.5 hours to get ready for something when there was nothing to get ready for.
Yeah,
that thankfully has changed now, and we've had some shows this year, and shows keep coming up, and thank God for that, because we need it. The community needs it.
It does. We only have one show booked as far as I can see, and it's Nordic Fest next year. And they have this midwinter summit, I think it was called. Yeah. And so we have one rehearsal weekend, and I think we have 4 or 5 booked so far. So we're going to be in our best shape ever because we're going to perform some of the songs from the album. We want it, want it to sound good as possible.
Well, that's the thing. I remember our first show back this summer, and it had been almost a year and a half. And we practiced as much as we could. We didn't get a lot of time; just things didn't work out. So we were ready to go. I get up on stage. Halfway through, like the first song, I'm dying. I'm like, holy crap! I forgot how hard this is to do. If you're not like physically in shape, and I'm not like physically in shape at all, and I should be, but you get up there playing guitar. It was like 100 degrees. I don't know what that is in Celsius. Really high. It doesn't get much hotter.
Yeah.
And the heat index was like 200%. It was, you just stand there drenched, soaking wet. And I about passed out before I even got on stage from the heat. And then I remember my wife telling me, she's like, you look pretty rough up there. I thought you and Hero were both going to pass out. It's been a while. It's an experience. It's a physical thing up there. It's not just, maybe
it's not just going up on stage and playing, it's all of your being that is up there. And it's really your entire soul that performs.
Actually, when we were in the East, Rickard managed to make the paint from a wall loosen up with his hot and sweaty body.
After the show.
Yeah, we were.
It was the hottest gig I ever attended to. It was insanely hot. Yeah, it was down in Czech Republic.
Yeah, it was a heat wave, and they had the windows open before, and the police came, and they were like, "If we have to come one more time, we're gonna shut the whole festival down. This is the East for you, right?"
And you don't want to mess with the Czech police.
No. And so when we were playing, they didn't open the windows, and it was a heat wave, and it was a little room with 200 people, and it was so hot. And we had a little longer set than the planned, but before we came to the last song, Rickard was like, no way. And we went out of stage. But then they started to, clap for
clap.
And we came down, and I was meeting this Rickard in some kind of berserk mode coming up again, and it was like, we gotta do an encore.
We gotta do these guys.
Yeah. So he went back behind the drums, and we had that last song, and then after that he was leaning. He had a black shirt, and he was leaning against the wall with kind of this type of color.
It was concrete and then color and then paint.
Yeah, and it's the same shade also. I like the same color. It was like pale something.
Old Soviet color.
Old Soviet colors.
And when he went away from the wall, the paint was on his shirt.
Yeah.
It was also still on the wall though. He didn't take all of it, but it was on the shirt.
It was sick, man.
That's right. You've left your DNA all over Europe now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot my boots on the hotel room because we were out in the city, and I wanted to have my sandals. And this was when the guys were younger and harder, so they were like, "You are not allowed to play metal in sandals." And I was like, "Okay, I go barefoot." So I was doing the gig barefoot,
standing on holy ground.
Yeah, and I was. So I had to hold on to the mic. What do you call it? The
mic stand.
Yeah, the mic stand, because my feet were like going every
different direction
in the sweat. So I held on for dear life to that mic stand. And around Jonas, our bass player, it was like 1 meter of a puddle of sweat.
Yeah.
That was the worst.
That sounds a lot like me on stage. I don't know how many times where I've gone to headbang, and I've come back up and I've just about tipped over, and like it's bad. Like I lose my balance really easily. So I had to go and get like really big boots to wear on stage and just plant my feet.
Oversized boots
and plant my feet. That way I don't fall over. Yeah. And it happens every single show. So especially if I wear like my little Chuck Taylors, which I wore last show and it was okay. I think that was more along the lines of just trying to get through, because I think I had bronchitis during that show. I could barely breathe. That was fun.
This
doing
is the
vocals for
kind
that.
of boots you need, Logan.
That's close to what I have.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I think that was the show, Carl, when we started the show without Jonathan.
Oh yeah. He
Yeah.
was behind
He was
stage.
like, I was looking back. I was counting us all in. I think we were starting with the show with the song "Revolution" from Incarnate. And as I would just, starting the song, and we were, wait, where is Jonathan? And then I look back, and I see him behind the stage with his pants down, just getting ready to come up. What the are you doing, guys? I'm here. And we just started the show without him. That's a pretty funny memory.
Makes me lie down in the green pasture.
And therein lies
He
the road
greases
to
up my
war.
head with oil.
Because
He
those
gives me
voices
kung
don't
fu
speak
at the
for the
base
rest
of my
of us.
head.
You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery.
Amen.
Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery?